Hello friends, welcome to the course on C programming. Today we are going to start the next chapter in C course, that is function. The function chapter has been divided into 6 different videos. We'll be starting with the very first one, the introduction of C functions and different types of C functions. So before we start the video on function, there are a few questions that we need to answer. First is what exactly a function is, in what situation we need to use function, and how do we use functions. So these are the questions that we are going to answer in this video. So let us start with the first question. What is a function? So basically function is nothing but a block of codes. There are some set of instructions in it which are meant for carrying out a specific task, a specific job. So it is a block having n number of instructions. Block is having a name. Let's say fun is the name of this block. For example, a block is having some input and it produces some output. So basically function is a block of code to carry out a specific task. So inputs are, sometimes we call them arguments, and outputs we call return value. Arguments could be nil, it could be 1, or it could be more, and return value could be nil or 1. You can return maximum 1 value in C function. Now let us take an example. For over here we have a function called, let's say, factorial. So the set of instructions would be, we know that how do we calculate factorial. We have one integer I, we have one factorial variable fact, then we run I from 1 to n, and we keep on multiplying fact equal to fact multiplied by I. So this is a set of instructions to calculate factorial. What is input to this code? N. We need to provide n to this code, and the output would be the fact, the answer 120. So if I provide n equal to 5, this block, this function would give me a result fact equal to 120. Now why do we need functions? So first thing is reusability. Once we write a code, for example in our previous slide, factorial, then we can reuse it again and again without rewriting those code, rewriting those sets. All we need to do is just call the function and you don't need to rewrite the code. So reusability. Now due to reusability, it would result into a reduction in length of the program, because if you need to calculate factorial 5 times in a particular program, you don't need to write those instructions 5 times. All you need to do is just write those instructions 1 time and call them 5 times. So for calling, all you need is just one statement. So overall length of the program would be reduced. Third advantage of using function is easy to debug and locate error. So because in function the entire code has been divided into small modules, it is very easy for you to test a particular module, test a particular function, and to check whether there is an error or not. You don't need to go through entire program to find out an error or to debug a particular set of instruction. And last advantage is top-down modular approach. What is top-down modular approach? Wherein you, top-down means you first write down a main function first, defining different functions, and then later on you will be elaborating each and every function. You will be writing the body of each and every function. So what is they call it? Top-down modular approach. So these are the benefits of using a function in any programming language. So how do we use function? Again, as we have discussed, a function is nothing but set of instructions, a block of code having some name, providing input, sometimes we call it arguments, and producing output, we call it a return value. So how do we declare a function? So for that, first you need to do is you need to write the function name. Now before the function name, you need to provide the return type. This would be a data type. For example, it could be int, integer, it could be float, it could be character. So you will be specifying a data type over here in the place of return type. And so either, as I have said, C function can return either nothing or it can return maximum one value. So if it is nothing, if the function does not return anything, there is a special keyword called void, void. So we'll be specifying void over here if it does not return anything, and if it returns something, for example, if it returns integer, then I'll be specifying int over here. If it returns float value, then I'll be specifying float here. If it returns character value, then I'll be specifying char here. Then with the function in the round bracket, we'll be specifying argument list, means what exactly you want to provide as inputs. So as I said, there could be, means there cannot be any argument, there can be one argument, or there can be more argument. So if I am not passing any argument, the same special keyword void would be used here, and if I am providing some arguments over here, I'll be specifying the type of argument. For example, if I'm providing one integer as input, then I'll be writing int. If I'm providing two integer, then I'll be writing int comma int. If one integer and one float, I'll be writing int comma float, and likewise. Then this is nothing but the body of the function. Within these two curly braces, we'll be specifying all those instructions that we wish to write as a block of code. And at the end, if we are returning anything, so we'll be writing a statement called return, and the value, the variable or a constant value will be specifying over here. So this is a general structure of function declaration. Now, based on the types, based on arguments and based on return type, there are 4 different categories. If we do not specify any argument, if we do not return anything, so means if we do not have input and if we do not return anything, then it is called function without argument, function without return value. This is my first category. Second category could be I can have argument but I don't return anything. So second category is function with argument but without return value. Third category is I can have both argument as well as return value. So third category is function with argument, function with return value. And last category is function without argument but function with return value. So based on argument and return value, these are 4 different categories of functions. So we'll see each category one by one with example. So let us start with the first category, wherein we do not provide any argument and we do not return any value. So function without any argument and without a return value. This is the first category that we are going to see now. So first category is function without argument and without return value, the first one. Now, if I am not specifying any return value, if I am not returning anything, over here is no. So that's why we are specifying void. So return value is nothing. The green is color used for a return value. So this void is for this no, there is no return value. Now this print line is the function name, and void, this red is argument. Now we are not specifying any argument over here, so that's why we are writing void over here. So no return value, no argument. And print line is a simple function wherein we are running a loop from I equal to 1 to 20 and we are printing just dash hyphen. So 20 dash or 20 hyphen will be printed. This is a very simple function where 20 hyphens will be printed. Now let us see how can I use this function in a main. So this is my function, the same function, void print line void. Again, let me reread this. Void is for no return value. This void is for no argument. And so this is my function definition. And how do I write main? First, I need to declare the function. So void print line void. This is nothing but declaration of my function. And then there is a statement like hello from main. So if I run the program, first I'll be getting this statement hello from main, and then this is my function call. So this is very important. From here it will jump to this function and it will print 20 hyphens. So it will print 20 hyphens. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. This 20 hyphen will be printed and then it will come back to main. Then again there is a statement high from main. So that high from main will be printed and again the same function is called second time. So second time it is jumping to this code and second time 20 hyphens will be printed. So output will be hello from main. This is over here. Then it will jump to print line and it will print this thing 20 hyphens. Then again it will come back to main and it will print high from main and again it will jump to this function and it will print 20 hyphens. So three things you need to remember: the function definition followed by the body of the function declaration in main from where we are calling the function, and the function call itself like print line. So you can have you can call this function multiple times like 2, 3, 4 n number of times you can call it. So this is the first category, function without argument and function without a return value. Now let us take the second category, function with argument. That means we are going to pass something as an input, as an argument, but we are not going to return anything. So how do I declare that kind of function? So same function, this void is nothing but we are not returning any value, so it is void. Print line is the function name, and now instead of void, now it is integer n. We are passing one argument which is of type integer. So that's why I've written integer and the variable name is n. Now instead of repeating that loop 20 times as in our previous case, we are now repeating n times. So it depends on the value of n. So value of n will be controlled by the calling function from the main, that we'll see in a little while. So in this is a very simple function wherein n hyphen will be printed. That's it. Now let us see how this is used. So first the same function is written, the void print line integer p, and p hyphens are printed, and then this is nothing but my function definition, and this is my main function. Now this is my declaration, void print line integer. So void is no argument, print line is function name, and int is nothing but my type of integer, type of argument. Now there is a small mistake. If you can see, this L is capital, so we need to write L capital over here because the name has to be very similar in case sensitive way. That means if it is small, it has to be small. If it is capital, it has to be capital. So when you write this code, please make this L capital. Then I have one n which is equal to 20, a simple variable. Then what am I doing is simple, I am printing hello from main. So this hello from main will be printed. Then I am calling a function println 15. So I am passing something as an argument. So 15 is sent to this function and it is caught in this variable p. So this 15 is copied in p, so value of p is 15. So this loop will be repeated 15 times and I'll be getting 15 hyphen. Then this will come back to main and it will print high from main. So it will print high from main. And then again one more function call, but this time I am passing n. What is n? N is 20. So this 20 is sent to this function call and it is copied into p. So next time p is equal to 20. So this loop will be repeated 20 times and I'll be getting 20 hyphens. So this length of the line is controlled from main. If I send 15, I'll get 15 hyphen. If I send 20, I'll get 20 hyphen. If I send 100, then I'll get 100 hyphen. So with the argument, with the input value, we are controlling the function. So this is my second category, function with argument but without a return value. Now let's move to the third category, function with argument with return value. That means I'm going to pass something as an argument, something as an input, and also function will return me something. So let us take a simple example of finding factorial. We know that in factorial, all you need is the number for which you want to find out factorial. Let's say p. And then the logic is very simple. We run a loop from 1 to p and we multiply fact, which is initialized to 1, multiply by I. So fact equal to fact multiply by I. So if p equal to 5, this loop will be repeated 5 times. I equal to 1, I equal to 2, I equal to 3, I equal to 4, and I equal to 5. And 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 5. The answer fact, the variable fact will contain the answer. And that answer is written. Now return fact means this answer, the variable will be written to main. So because fact is of type integer, we are writing int over here. So factorial is a function name having one argument, is written with argument. So one argument of type integer and with return value. So and it returns one value of type integer. So factorial is a function with one argument and one return value. Now let us see how do we use this function. So this is the same function that we have discussed. This is nothing but my function definition followed by the entire body of function, and then this is my main. So in main, first we declare the function integer factorial integer. So factorial is a function with one argument which is of type integer, and factorial returns one value which is also of type integer. So this is function declaration. Then I am calling this function factorial in bracket n. What is n? N is 5. So I am calling a function factorial 5. So now this n is copied into p. So what will be the value of p? It will be 5. And this loop will be repeated 5 times. I equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the answer will be 120. We know that 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 5 is 120, and that 120 will be there in this variable fact. And when I return this fact, it will be copied into answer because this whole function has been called in the right hand side of the expression. So whatever the response that we get, this fact 120, that will be copied into answer, and when I print answer, I'll be getting 120. So answer will be 120. This is what you get. So this is my third category wherein I provide input or argument and I also get output or a return value. So function with argument, function with return value. And the last category is function without argument but with return value. So in last category, I do not pass anything as argument, but I do return something from the function. So for that, let us take the same example, factorial, but the only change is instead of passing the n from main to factorial, what we are doing is we are reading that number from the function itself. So we are not passing anything, so this is void, and we are returning something int, so this is int. So factorial function without argument with return value, factorial without argument with return value. Now what do we do in this function? We ask the user to enter a number. Now once that number is entered, then the same logic, we run a loop for I equal to 1 to p and calculate factorial, and that factorial is written. So let us see how do we use this in our program. So the same function that we have taken, and this is my main. In main, the first line is declaration of the function, the integer fact void, means factorial is a function without any argument but with one integer return value. And then I am calling answer equal to factorial. I am not passing anything over here because this is without argument. So it will simply jump over here and it will then start executing the code. So it will first ask me enter number. So if I enter 5, so it will go into this p, and then 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 5. So answer will be 120. That 120 is written, so it will be copied into answer, and it will print me answer equal to 120. So this is my fourth category. So with this, let me conclude this video, we have seen what are the benefits of function, how do we declare a function, what are those 4 different categories of function, and with example we demonstrated the different categories. In our next video, we'll be taking the scopes and types of variables. So thank you for watching this video. Until then, enjoy C programming.